So, a couple weeks ago, I was seeing a bunch of 100 days in survival Minecraft. And I was like, ooh, wait, that's really cool. I want to try that. It's been actually, I don't know, a few years since, I've played solo survival. And I never actually finished the game by myself. So we're doing 100 days of Minecraft. Except not hardcore. So, normal Minecraft. First, the necessities. Wood. I found this cave. It only has stone and coal, but that was fine because I got a new pickaxe. I found this bee. I thought it was pretty cool, so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna live here. I then took off into the snowy plains to explore. I found an igloo, which was super cool because I got a bed from it. And it had a basement, so I was able to cure the villager at the bottom. But that was it. That was my day 1. I thought it was a pretty cool day 1. Day 2, I went back to where I wanted to live, and I realized food was becoming an issue, so I started off with a little small farm. I also didn't really like this hill next to the beehive, so I started working on removing it. Day 3, I thought it was time to name my bee friend. I soon realized that there's actually 2 bees, so I named the second one Bree. Day 4, I finished removing the hill next to the beehive, but I was really lazy and didn't want to get rid of the other one, so I decided to make it into a cliff. I also have way too much dirt now, so I gotta get rid of that. I also found this giant ravine behind the hills, so that was pretty spooky, but free iron. Day 6, once again, upgrade my pickaxe. And I made a small cow farm. Day 7, a group of pillagers spawned, threatening me for my wheat. But I didn't have any, so death. I made a small sheep farm right next to the cows, and I got a bucket of milk to remove the bad omen. I decided it was time to move my farm closer to the house and made a stone cutter to finish off my day. Day 8, I started planning out my cliff, and the trees finally grew, and I was able to get some more wood. More pillagers showed up, and I was way too low on health to fight them, so then I just left. Day 9, I started replacing the andesite on the cliff with stone and finished it off with some slabs and stairs, and I continued to work on my house until it was nighttime. Day 10, I started to build up the walls with all the wood I had and went out exploring for sugarcane. I didn't find any, sadly. Day 11, I collected some more wood to use for my house and continued on the walls. I then made a campfire so that I could collect honey for my bees. Day 12, I finished the walls of my house and I planted more trees for the roof. I went out exploring for more sugarcane and still had no luck. When heading back, I saw more pillagers, but I need more food first. Day 13, I noticed that there was a third bee flying around. I don't know where she came from, but I named her Bethany. I realized that my farm was way too close to the cliff I built and decided I should move it. So I planned out this little area near the hill and started making it into a bigger farm. Day 14, I went back to hunting down more sugarcane, and I was luckily able to find some. I started heading back and, oh hey look, more sugarcane. More pillagers spawned again, so I took care of that. And then I rearranged the flowers near the beehive to make them more colorful. Day 15, I finished up the farm and went back to place some flowers. Benny and Bree wanted some, and they had a baby! I named the new bee Bonnie. Day 16, I started building the roof of my house. Day 17, I didn't like how this room looked, so I removed it and replaced it with a window there instead. Day 18, I continued to work on the roof, and at this point, I just needed to fill it in. I got most of the roof done before the day was over. Day 19, I completed the roof, and a water trader showed up, so I robbed him of his leads. Day 20, I added in some windows and made them look nice. Day 21, I started working on the insides. I then moved the cows over to a new area and got started clearing out a spot for the sheep. Day 22, the sheep were successfully moved and I built a small area for chickens. I could only find one chicken though, so he lived by himself. I thought my house was missing something, so I decided I was going to add a chimney. Day 23, I dug out a spot for the fireplace to sit, and I got a bunch of stone bricks to start building. At the end of the day, it was complete! Day 24, I wanted to go adventure, so I grabbed a bunch of my stuff and left. I collected a bunch of stuff like clay, flowers, but I didn't find anything too noteworthy. Day 25, I hopped into a boat and looked for sunken ships and ruined nether portals. I was able to spot a ship, but my shader pack wouldn't let me see underwater, and I had to switch to a different one. I found a buried treasure map and got the loot from that. I found a swamp on my way back home and collected a few lily pads. It was night when I finally made it back home. Day 26, I placed some of the lily pads in the farm so I wouldn't fall into the water, and I used some of the diamonds I found to make a pickaxe. I then went out in search for a lava pool that I remembered seeing earlier and collected all the obsidian I would need to build another portal. Day 27, I finally made some armor and built myself another portal. It was time to go and see where I would spawn. But I forgot to bring gold, so the piglins were very angry. I collected a bunch of quartz for levels and then headed home because I didn't know what I was doing. Day 28, I wanted to build a waterfall next to the portal, but as soon as I opened my door, I was attacked. I was able to take care of them, but my shield broke mid-fight and I had to go make a second one. I wanted this thing to be as pretty and impractical as possible. Too bad I don't have the greatest building skills, but it was still impractical. Perfect! It's time for more storage. That's better-ish. I kinda just organized the entire day. Very boring. I finally had enough iron to finish my fireplace. It honestly felt like a waste of iron, but oh well. I also got some leaves to place around my house to make it feel a little less empty. I grew another tall tree for some more wood because I never seemed to have enough. And as the sun set, I went out to my igloo I found on day 1. Day 31, I had brought 2 job blocks with me so that I could trade with them. I got annoyed at the first villager that he wouldn't give me anything I wanted, so I swapped over to the other villager and found out that he actually gives me a discount for healing him. I settled on a Fortune 2 book for 1 emerald because I thought that was the best thing I was able to get. Day 32, I decided that it was time to make this room look a little bit nicer, but I quickly found out that there was a mine shaft right next to the igloo. I just ignored it and went back home. Day 33, when I got home, I wanted to make a basement and connect it to my house to the igloo. Day 34, I spent the entire day digging and building. All this mining made me realize that I never made a strip mine and started working on that. Day 35, I started digging down to Y11 so I could easily mine for diamonds. Day 36, the mine was complete. I started mining for more materials, but I had no concept of time yet, so the days ended when I felt like they ended. I did find my first group of diamonds, but without Fortune 3 yet, I just left them there for later. Day 37, I was done mining and I found 2 veins of diamonds and had enough iron for an anvil. I had my Fortune 3 pickaxe and it was time to get rich. By the end of it, I had 23 diamonds. Day 38, I did a bunch of farming for bone meal and got another tree. I then used some of that wood to add a well-needed support beam to my house. It looks so much better now. Day 39, I went out searching for a second igloo. I was really greedy and wanted more cheap deals. Let's just say, I went pretty far. Day 40, I did get some cool loot from this treasure chest, but I got bored and headed home. Day 41, I made a clock so I could tell what time it was when I was mining, and I made a set of diamond armor. I went back to the nether and traded some piglins, but I didn't really get much. I kinda just mined a lot on day 42, but I did make a enchanting table by the end of it. I realized that I had no space in my basement to have a level 30 enchanting table, but that was an issue to solve tomorrow. Day 43, I dug out this little area for an enchanting room. Day 44, I collected a bunch of sugarcane to make paper for bookshelves. I could only make 5, and I was gonna need a lot more books. I then set out on an adventure, a long adventure. As the sun was setting, I stumbled on my first village. Day 45, I stole a bunch of their wheat. They didn't have anything cool, so I just left, and there was a second village right behind them. I then found the snowy village across the ocean and stole all of their lanterns. Day 46, I found another snowy village, and I stole one guy's bookshelves. They were all mine now. Day 47, I wandered around the icy plains looking for another igloo. Day 48, I gave up on my search and went home. Day 49, I thought I should kidnap a villager, bring him to the igloo I already have. Day 50, I gave up on that idea and let him live the rest of his life in the wild. He looks happy, I think. I finally made it back home, disappointed as ever. I thought making a tunnel to the villagers at the igloo would be a good idea. I got a music disc at some point between here and made a jukebox. Day 51, I realized this was a horrible idea and abandoned it. I found some bamboo at some point on my dumb adventure, so I put it next to my farm just in case I ever need scaffolding. I was able to finish my enchanting table from all the books I found, and then traveled over to my igloo to make a villager farm. Day 52, I started off by expanding the walls and adding a farm, and I made a bunch of beds. Day 53, I gave him some bread and waited. Day 54, I went to light up the mineshaft around the area, but my sword broke and I had to leave to go make a new one. Day 55, I went mining to get more levels for enchanting, and I found a zombie spawner. Day 56, I got bored of waiting for the leaves to decay from a tree I grew, so I built a bridge. Day 57, I finished the bridge. It's not the nicest looking thing, but it's a bridge. Day 58, I went back to mining and found a second zombie spawner. Day 59 consisted of a ton more mining. Day 60, I decided to enchant my pickaxe, hoping to get efficiency and unbreaking. It was only fortune. Day 61, I headed back to the igloo and finished up lighting the mineshaft. I had found 2 skeleton spawners right next to each other. Day 62, I found a third dungeon in the mineshaft, this time as a spider spawner. Day 63, I went home and enchanted my sword. It was pretty decent, I think. Also, my villager climbed up this ladder to escape. I had no way of bringing him back down, so I just left him to fend for himself. To keep this from happening to any of my good villagers, I decided to start boxing them in. Day 64, I got 2 villagers boxed in. Day 65, I got Protection 3 villager at an okay price. I already spent so much time cycling through shades, I just went for it. Day 66, I went back to mining. Day 67, I enchanted my 3rd diamond pickaxe, and I actually got what I needed. I then combined it with one of my Fortune 3 picks, and then added the Protection 3 books to my armor. A wandering trader then appeared, and I bought 3 flowers from him. I then went back to the nether and traded with some piglins and mined quartz for levels. Day 68, I accidentally angered a zombie pigman trying to kill Ghast, and I had to deal with what was wrong with them. But I then built a tunnel to the Crimson Warp Forest for easy access. Day 69, while I was in the Warp Forest, I killed some Endermen for pearls. I only got 1 pearl out of it, so it wasn't really worth it. Day 70, I went back to mine quartz, and I spotted this room portal. There wasn't much in this chest, but I was surprised on how I never spotted it. Day 71, I went back to mining. Day 72, I enchanted my bow and got pretty okay stuff. I was getting really bored of mining and decided to use a skeleton spawner I found as an XP grinder. Day 73, I had no clue what I was doing and just built stuff. My plan was to funnel both spawners into one spot and create a water elevator up and drop a skeleton so they would be one hit. Day 74, I dig out an area for where the skeletons would land. Day 75, I was able to test the spawner and it didn't work. I had placed trap doors to stop the water from connecting because somewhere in my brain was like, yeah, this should work. But the skeletons were too tall and I replaced them with gates. It kind of worked. They definitely weren't one hit, but experience is experience. Then I worked on making it look nice. It wasn't the most efficient and it was far from perfect, but it worked. Day 76, I noticed that the villagers were directly above where the spawner was, so I was able to add a ladder going down to the XP grinder. Day 77, I got a 3rd villager in a box. Day 78, I finished up the farm area. Day 79, I got the obsidian to build a portal for easy nether travel. The portal was somewhat close to the one to my house, so I just built a simple path. Day 80, 2 villagers got stuck on the ladder, and when I went to go save them, I got myself trapped. There I was, stuck. I couldn't get out without killing one. Luckily, the iron golem wasn't too mad, and I was able to get the other villager back down alive. I got a mending villager for 14 emeralds. I used it on my pickaxe because it was the most lowest and most deserving, and I healed it from the skeleton farm. I then started lighting up the room with glowstone instead of torches. It looked prettier. Day 82, I head back home to find blaze rods. I'd gotten fire protection for chestplate, which would be extremely useful when I caught fire, and I headed to the nether, and Bonnie was there? I had to save her later. I hadn't explored much of the nether yet, so I had no idea which way to go, but I walked as best as I could in the same direction. Day 83, I had come across Bastion. It wasn't what I was looking for, but I did consider going in for 2 seconds before realizing I had no clue how Bastions worked, and I shouldn't have tapped beating one yet. After 30 minutes of wandering, I saw it, a fortress. There was a blaze spawner right next to a ledge that I could easily block off. Day 84, I got all the blaze rods I would ever need and went on exploring the fortress. Afterwards, I started my terrifying journey home. I forgot the path I took. At one point, I just started digging, and I found ancient debris. Towards the end, I got super confused on where I was, but I recognized the room portal I had found earlier and realized I had somehow just walked past my portal. I spent all of day 85 and 86 preparing for the Ender Dragon fight. Day 87, I made a few Eyes of Ender and was ready to head out. I grabbed my trusty unnamed steed that I just tamed and rode off. Day 88, I found the stronghold and I immediately found the portal frame. Day 89, I opened the portal and grabbed everything I thought I would need and jumped in. I had never fought the Ender Dragon on my own before. This was the first time I had gone into the end by myself without any help. With my horrible aim, I took out all of the end crystals, but I might have looked at a few Endermen while doing it, but I was able to do a ton of damage to the dragon with my sword. I pretty much had this. Nothing could stop me from beating the game at this point. With my last arrow, I took my final shot and I did it. I beat the game! I had done it. I had beaten Minecraft. After all these years of playing, I had finally did the one thing others have done 100 times over. I grabbed the egg and went back through the portal. Screw the credits, I only have so much time left. I only have one thing I want to do left, get an elytra, but I was terrified. I didn't want to come this far just to lose everything. I didn't want to spend my last few days with nothing. So I made an ender chest, just in case. If I had to, I would have a potential way to save some of my stuff if I had the chance. Day 90 to 91, I went back home and grabbed more blocks, rockets, and arrows. Except, I forgot arrows. I got lost while finding the portal and spent way too long looking for it, but we're just going to skip over that. I think of the cool dragon fight, and into the portal I went. I hate bridging over to each island, but I wasn't lucky enough to find a city as soon as I teleported in. I had spotted my first city on day 93. It was small, but I was hopeful. I got some pretty okay loot, but I wasn't going to give up on the Elytra. I had only a couple hours left. I had spotted a few more end cities, but none of them had ships. End city after end city. Day 96, I saw it, a ship. I didn't feel like looting the end city. I only wanted the ship. I grabbed the Elytra and was ready to leave. I might have forgotten to grab the dragon head, but I was tired of the end. I was in there for over an hour searching, and I was experiencing a ton of lag spikes. Day 97, I found a portal that I could leave through and I went home. Day 98, it took a minute to find a place for everything I collected and started working on the podium for the egg. By the end of the day, it was done. Day 99, I had a few shelves to the top part of my house. It never really looked the best, but I tried. I then flew over to my igloo and traded with my villagers one last time. Day 100, I flew back to my house. I wanted to take the last day I had and look at everything I had done since the beginning. Where I first spawned, the cave that I got all my cobblestone before going mining, where I had first set up the beehive that made me want to live here, my house that took way too long to build, the mine where I spent most of my time, more pillagers to bother me, the cow farm coming in clutch, the villager farm, the skeleton farm, the nether. And as the sun was setting, I grabbed my jukebox and music discs and watched as day 100 ended. And that was it. Over 20 hours spent on this world, 0 deaths, the farthest I've ever come in a solo survival world. I loved every day I spent on this world, and I'll miss it because it's 20 hours of work, but I don't want to record another one. As much as I'd love to go to do 200 days, 300 days, and so on and so forth, I feel like I gave myself 100 days to play Minecraft. And I did that. And I got farther than I ever have in Minecraft. And I feel like it would end up stalling it off for so long, 1. And 2, there's so much more that I could do. I could go out and find a trident. I could make a spider farm with the spider spawner I found. I could make an entire village farm if I wanted. I could go out and get another dragon head, another elytra. I could make a mob grinder. I could do so much more. But I'm happy with where my world ended. And it may not be the coolest world, but it definitely is the most meaningful to me now.